Okay, so we'll try this again. Hello, everybody. At least I caught it quickly. And welcome to the Maker Nerd. We're just going to be doing some playing around, maybe doing some card making, and basically testing this software because it does not like to do what I tell it to do. I tell it to unmute, and I take it off mute, and then it remutes. So that's why we've been having some sound difficulty lately. But um, maybe I need to go to some different software, but this is the software that I've been using, and I still haven't completely figured it out. Just got internet that kind of helps with going live, so we'll see if this works this afternoon. All I'm going to be doing is some playing around with some card making. I have some grad students, as you all know, and I still need to finish the things that I'm making for them. So cards are definitely at the top of my list. So let me go ahead and show you if I can what I will be working with. So let's look at and let's see if this even works. Yay! So this is the card that I'm working with. This is not the original design from Cricut. I actually modified it a little bit. So it was this, so this white piece is new. It wasn't here. The card was white. The nice hat with the congratulations was above and below the card, which it still will be. And that was the extent of the card. But what I decided I wanted to do was I'm going to continue to keep this white with this, and the writing's going to go on here, but then I'm going to take this and run it through an embosser and see if I can't give it a little bit of texture. And then instead of just gluing this onto the card itself, I'm going to use some dots to actually lift it up off of the surface. So here are the dots that I'm going to be using. I'll turn those over this way. These are the really small ones. Hopefully yeah, okay, how about right here? This is perfect. Yeah, so this is what I'm going to be using to actually stand the hat up off the card, which the white will get glued to the yellow, and then the card will sit, or the hat will sit on top of the white. So that's what we're going to start with today. So let's go ahead and switch our overview, if I can figure out which source that might be. Then we'll see if this works. Here we go. Perfect. So I've already got a couple of different mats out. I typically use the light mat when I am using cardstock, but I use the heavier stuff. I use the medium mat or the standard grip mat when I'm using something like this really heavy duty glitter cardstock. I think though I've decided to make the tassel, oh, what did I do? Out of this instead, because that's a little dark, I thought. So I decided to go with this. This more reminds me of the gold color of a tassel. So this is what I decided to go with today. So this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks that I use when I'm making cards, and I need to make more than just the one. So let me see if I can. Hold on just a second. There we go. Sometimes it doesn't want to do it when I want it to do it. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to come up to the top, and I'm going to say make it. And this is where it would start, right? But that isn't where I want it to start. So don't think that just because. Okay, let me get this window out of the way. Nope, if I put it over there, it's going to show up there. So I'll set it over here. Don't think that just because it's set up this way, this is the way you have to do it. It is not. I know that I need to make 4 cards, so I am going to come over here. So I'll be looking over at my other screen, sorry. And I'm going to say 4, and I'm going to say apply. And it's going to lay it out this way, and that's great. Although, what I'm going to be trying to do is use up some white cardstock that got messed up on some previous projects, but I think I'll be able to get one or two of these out of it. So I'll be doing that later. So what I'm going to do is scroll down, and here, so you can start anywhere you want to when you're doing a card or anything that you're cutting out. You don't have to start where they tell you to start. So I'm going to come down here, and as you can see, there are 4 of these. So that's what I'm going to print first. And there are 4 of these, and everything is in 4s. And so I'm going to go ahead and start with the things that I know will fit on one sheet. So we've got this, so let's start there. Now let's see if I can figure out how to come back over. I think I know what's going on. Perfect. When you've got 2 screens like that and you see your mouse on this screen that you're looking at, then yeah, it gets a little confusing. So I know that I'm starting with the black, and I have some black here from a previous project. So I'm just going to set this stuff out of the way right now so that I can get to it easily. I think I set the wrong thing off. This is all brand new that I can use if need be, but right now I want to try and get some scraps used up. So let's bring this back up here. Let's get that rag out of the way. And right here is the black that I want to use. Doesn't have to be real heavy, and that other cardstock is fairly heavy. So let's grab our black. And let's go ahead and get that out of the way. So as you can see, I have previously cut a couple of little things off of this. So just to make it easier for myself, I am going to grab my paper cutter, and I am going to quickly trim this paper up so that I can go ahead and use this sheet. So I'm just going to slide this under here, like so. I can kind of see from the groove, but another thing that I like to do to kind of get my marks right is I have this scoring thing. So I'll just come through and I'll press down. I don't necessarily want to score the whole thing, but I press down on it. I'll go ahead and do it this time just to make sure that it's going to cut where I want it to. So that's out of the way. Move this. Put this back over out of the way. And moving on. So I'm going to go ahead and use my light grip mat for this because I know that this make sure I get it put on here the way that I want it to be put on here. So go ahead and grab my brayer out, kind of make sure it sticks down there good. Perfect. So now I'm going to go ahead and take this, and I'm going to go ahead and let's switch back over to here. I'm going to go ahead and say continue, right? And it's going to connect, hopefully, to my Cricut. There we go. And so I'm going to go ahead and adjust. Right now I have it on Cardstock Plus, but I'm going to go ahead and adjust this. Well, yeah, no, that's good. Cardstock Plus is good for this. I'm going to go ahead and slide this in. So we're not going to finish our cards today, but we are going to get a good start. And there we go. Cool. So now that's going to cut. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead while that's cutting, and I'm going to go ahead and get that nice sparkly cardstock that's very thick, very, very thick, which is why I can't use a light grip mat with this stuff because it just won't hold it. When it starts cutting it, the blade will start scooting it around. So I'm going to use my roller brayer tool, make sure I get all this stuck down really nice and tight onto my standard grip mat. Like I said, this stuff is really nice and tight. So there, hopefully that will take care of that. We're almost done cutting out our hats, as you can see. So we'll give that a second. Oh, that sounded interesting, didn't it? Okay, that's done. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that out right here. Okay, so, um, for some reason it seems to have lost connection. That's okay, we'll get that back in just a second. But like I was saying, now I want to come down here. If this had been a further mat down, I would have just went and grabbed it. So let's select the Bluetooth, Air 2, which is what we're using today. I don't have the maker sitting over here. Okay. It's not, seems to be having a hard time. There we go. Okay, let's pop back then. Okay, here we go. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now, I know I need to adjust the dial massively. In fact, I'm going to put it on custom. And what does that do for us? So I'm going to put it on custom. Adjust the dial to the, and I'm going to, let's look at, oh, nope, that's all good because I have a deep blade in there. No, actually, I think it is a fine point blade. Wonder, okay. So, I looked it up on Cricut today because I've been having a really difficult time getting it to cut all the way through this glitter. And so when I looked it up on Cricut today, it said if you have an Explorer that you're using, and I have a Maker and I could switch over to it, but I want to figure out how to use this with my Explorer as well. It said to set it on custom. And I see that with it set on custom, it switches it to Poster Board Plus. So let's load this on here and see how that works. Okay, we'll see how it cuts. So while that's cutting, let's go ahead and let's take off our black here and let's see what we've got. This is the best way to keep things moving, is to always have at least two mats going. That way while one's doing one thing, you can be loading, taking off, etc., from another one. So I'm just gonna pull that off like so. Nice cut. I like to keep all my spare material, so I will put that in my spare material container after a while. And let's go ahead now and let's get these off of here. I know I have a little spatula somewhere, but I think if I just do that and grab them like so, as you can see, pulls them right off. So I'm just using my duckbill and I'm just kind of rolling it a little bit, grabbing and pulling off. You know, use the tools that you have handy. That's what I always do. You know, why waste the time looking for my tiny spatula and maybe not even finding it? Although sometimes, you know, you need the tool that you need to be successful. There we go. Alright, so we have all four of those off. So I'm temporarily just going to go ahead and I need to clean this mat. Cleaning your mats is really easy. All you need to do is one of two things. Wash them with mild soapy water or go to the Dollar Tree and buy you a bottle of this stuff. This stuff is the greatest. You spray it on the mat, you let it set, you scrape the mat with something like this, something with a hard surface to get all the goo off. You take it inside, you rinse it with water, you put it somewhere so it can dry, and it will become sticky again. So if you have a mat that has lost a lot of its stickiness, that's all you got to do. All right, so now let's quickly look to see how these cut. Okay, so let's just go ahead. This stuff is really super, super thick. I'm going to turn this one over and roll it. Hey, you know what? That worked, my friends. So even though now I know when I'm doing this really, really thick glitter stuff to set my Explorer to the custom setting, and it will indeed cut all the way through without massively cutting my mat. So, perfection. And again, clearly this is a nice big piece of glitter that I can find other uses for. So awesome. These look wonderful. So these are the little tassels that will go on the hats. I like the look of them. Sometimes I have a tendency to pull things toward me, so my apologies for that. I know that can be disconcerting for you guys when you're trying to watch something. So let's go ahead and take that off. Perfect. And that's all the really thick stuff I have to cut. And as you can see, it did not in any way, shape, or form cut through my mat. So perfect. And yes, this mat has been used a lot. So let me go ahead and get this mat set aside. Honestly, I'm not real big into card making. I only do it for special people and special occasions. And even then, I don't do it consistently, and I need to. I mean, it's not that I don't like making cards. Now let me see. I thought I would use. So as you can see, I've got. Let me show you one of the hats. So here is one of the hats, right? And then I thought I would use something a little different than just a standard gray cardstock. So I thought I would use this, which kind of has a shimmer to it. I think this will be really nice, and it will sit on top of the hat right here. So the black part will remain, but I will glue this onto the top of that. And I think that'll look really nice. So let's go ahead and get this cut. And this is really kind of thick too, but I don't think it's as thick as the glitter stuff. So we'll just use a standard mat and see what we get. And we'll set our machine to cardstock plus. Okay. So once I get these cut out, it's probably all I'm going to do for today. I will, when I next decide to work on these, I will film that again. I'm going to turn it this way because I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of change in color right there. So let's set it on here like so. Like so. Okay. Let me go ahead and get this on here. I'm a little bit of a pack rat when it comes to my cardstock because I don't like throwing away pieces just because, I mean, I keep things even smaller than this. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, let's go back over, um, over here. Yes, let's go back over here. So if I were to follow the design, we just cut those. The next thing we would be cutting would be this, but we don't want to cut that. So this is what we want to cut. These are the gray pieces. So now I'm going to go ahead and choose those. And I know that they're chosen because if you can see over here, it's a lighter gray, excuse me, than these. So that's how I know that's what I'm cutting next. And if you want to see it, you can mouse over it and it'll show you what you're about to cut. But you have to be on the mat to see that. So alright. Says I'm cut on cardstock 80 pounds, which is probably about what this is. We'll try it. If it fails, well, this is released from this mat. So let's try it one more time. Put that in there. And we'll wait while it prepares. And we'll say, okay. I'm just it's making its little cut marks. While it does that, I'm just going to stand here and hold the mat out straight so that it's not tilted. Okay. I will eventually have a camera on this machine so that you can see what it's doing as well. I've got to figure that out still. But we're slowly but surely getting things figured out. Strange that it says it's 100% before it actually is 100%. Perfect. Okay. Bring this over here. And I will go ahead and come back over here with the old mouse. There we go. And here's where we want to be. So, let's see if this cut all the way through. It was definitely thicker than standard card. So see, this is what sometimes you get with the thicker stuff, even though I was using a heavier setting than just plain cardstock. I can still work with this by taking my X-Acto and running it around it, but I should have gone heavier, clearly. Let me go ahead and get my mat covered. This one also could stand with a cleaning. And let's see what we get. Just going to take that. My concern is the little cut that I'm supposed to have in it. I'll show you here as soon as I get one of these off. If we successfully get one of these off. How about that? Sometimes you just take your X-Acto and go right in the straight line. There we go. And that'll stand up for me to be able to. There. Well, sometimes it needs a little cut, sometimes it just needs a little pop. Okay. Almost released. So see, this is a lot of extra work that didn't need to be doing just to get these pieces, but I don't want to waste. So, my only concern is with those grooves that you can see when the light, see them? You can see the grooves there. Pretty sure those are supposed to be cut through. So I'll have to take an X-Acto knife and go over those as well. You can see the back side, it come close to cutting through, but yeah. Sometimes things just don't work quite the way they're supposed to. And we learn from that. Nothing is a failure, just learning experiences. Doing the fairly straight groove will be easy. I'll have to check about the other one. Let's see if I got a... There we go. There we go. So yeah, nothing major, and I'm glad that I'm finally, you guys don't know how long I have been stressing over what card I was going to make. I don't like doing the same one each year, and last year's was a lot of gluing, so I thought I would avoid that this year and go with something a little simple, but I think elegant. Elegant? Yeah, something like that. Elegant. There we go. I try, even though this is a live video, I'm trying to wrap it up. What you don't want to do is get in a hurry and rush things, because inevitably when I do, I screw something up. So I'm trying to take my time. There we go. Alright, so these will, this basically, there's one more piece to these that I need to cut out, but I'm not sure what color of cardstock I want to do that with yet. So I'm going to set this on here so that you can see it better. So that will go there. This will get put on top there. And they have little cut grooves. I'm not really sure why. I don't even know if I'm going to use them. Right? And so that will then go there. And then the tassel. And these may just be ways for you to line it up. Right? Probably more than anything for the gluing purpose. And then that will go there. And then they also actually use, see if I can, yeah, they also actually use a different color dot on top of that, like for the button of the cap that's a little larger. So I had to figure out what I want to use for that. So that's generally what that's going to look like. That's going to go on top of a piece of white paper that's going to be embossed with something that I really look forward to attempting. And with the writing on it, and yeah. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and in the next day or two, I will be back to finish up at least one of these cards. So stay tuned to see how this all comes together. Again, thank you and have a wonderful afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you might be. Bye.